Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
But through our own lens, which can be riddled with our own insecurities, which can be, of course, maybe like feeling triumphant because of a recent achievement. Listen, it'll be salty, it'll be peppery, it'll be spicy. At the end of the day, just like life, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi, guys. Hey.
Hello, hello.
Talking about 90 Day Fiancé. We are happily ever after. We are season 7, episode 11. Meet me halfway, honey. Meet me halfway, honey. Listen, you can't go the full way. You meet me halfway. I went on a date last night, and
Oh,
I wish I had perhaps. I always get upset when the guy doesn't offer to meet halfway in between where you live and where he lives. It always makes me upset when his first offer is, "Okay, let's meet like right by. Let's meet where I live." I'm always like, "Great for you. How great for you." Oh, okay. How easy and great for you. It's going to take me 30 minutes to get there, but great for you. You know, meet me halfway, honey. Meet me halfway. So having said that, listen, I wasn't wrong when I talked about what Docu Sweeties is, riddled with our own insecurities, but also there's achievements. Who do you want to start with first, Wazies?
let's start with Bilal and Shida.
Yes, Bilal and Shai.
Okay,
She is flexible.
hi. He's disgusting. Like, he doesn't respect her and what she does to the nth degree. And then on top of him not actually having respect of her and what she does, he then decides that he's going to be funny about it because that's how uncomfortable yoga makes him. Every single time this person asks him to do anything, he has to start talking about passing gas. He has to push the person next to him over. And maybe it's because, this is through our own lens, and which can sometimes be salty and sometimes be spicy. But as somebody who does yoga, and I don't necessarily take it like, woo, what Chris says something like woo woo haha, like spiritual. I don't take it seriously,
Yeah.
like to where I'm like actually like filling my chakras or like truly, I'm trying to move with the breath. But the truth is that like yoga doesn't hit me on a spiritual level the way it hits other people. But I do enjoy the practice. I do enjoy the challenge. I do enjoy the thought behind it. Do I ever open my third eye? Never, not once. But for Bilal to go into a class with some of her students and then create like a fart sound and then have it like last extra long and then be like, when she's like, "What's that?" He's like, "Oh, Marsha did it." It's just like tacky and uncouth and like, he doesn't give a shit about her and her business.
He doesn't like it because he doesn't know it. He's not good at it. She's good at it. He can't explain to her about yoga. What is he going to teach her about yoga? She's a yoga teacher. So, by nature of that, it feels uncomfortable for him. And yeah, he just is like, how can I get the attention back on me? Like, which is through like a very negative way, which is like the dumbest little boy way, which is fart stuff. I mean, truly the dumbest. I mean, schoolyard. So, she is, though, incredibly flexible, and so am I. So, and God bless. So he is. He makes mentions that are certain times in the relationship when that really comes in handy, and I also agree. You know, um,
Good for you too.
yeah. No, listen, me and her, we. What are we gonna say? We're great in bed. Anyway, unlike Jenny, Jenny could use some flexibility classes. So no Jody and Sumit on this episode. How sorry for us and how sorry for you. Um, she loves him.
She
So
acknowledges that she is embarrassed by him and that she never really knows when the little pranks are going to come out, but
yeah,
she's trying really hard to be the good wife that she's supposed to be because she really wants to make this work with Bilal. But we're just watching a woman trying to make fetch work, and it's hard sometimes because nobody deserves that. So She gets her work permit and she's
Yeah.
really excited to show it to him. She's got her little like workers social security card and she's got her like EAD card and she's able to like hit the ground running. And so she's excited because she wants to look at yoga studios and Bilal has to bring in his high-handed heavy dose of reality and tell her that no, there's so many things you need to do prior than looking at busy the spaces, yeah, because you don't know. First of all, you have to market first, and I'm like, why would you market for a place when you don't even have a space in which to do it? You have to market first. You have to get a bank account. You have to get a credit. You have to build up credit. He just starts to mansplain to her why looking at yoga studios right now is not the best, smartest first move. And my thought is, you can say all of that without hope dashing her hopes and dreams. You can say, yeah, we can start looking at some stuff, but before we actually like put down and get something, let's get the bank account because that's super important first. Like we got to like get you an LLC and all that stuff. But yeah, we could definitely start looking at places just to get an idea of like what the real estate looks like in Kansas City for that. And then I can help you do some research to see like how many yoga studios they are and what areas maybe you should get it in, and because that's where like that audience is and like stuff like that. Like he just wants to immediately tell her that what she wants to do is wrong and
Yeah.
not the way of it, and that he knows the way of it and you don't have your ducks in a row. So
Right. But somehow he acquiesces, and he acquiesces in a way in which she is able to go and meet with his like fellow coworkers. They're like, because he does like what he is. He's not a realtor, but he like does real estate stuff, right? They like work with him in some way. And they're two lovely ladies, honey. It's like Mimi and Stacy. They're both wearing like brown and or like camel colored jackets. Like one looks like it's like leather and one looks like it's just like canvas or whatever. But they're working women who have children, and Shy like looks up to them. And so, and like they have positive energy. And so they take her to this space, and it's definitely needs some improvement and some love. But it has a huge open area, what looks like multiple rooms. And right away they're like, yeah, so this is a wall that could definitely be mirrored and be gorgeous. And so like that kind of like feminine positive eye is always good to have, like that sort of energy creates and sparks creativity and sort of like that kind of like business adventure you need, where you have like someone like giving you positivity, which is why I feel like Bilal's constant negativity of it's not great to do this and you have to learn how to do that first, and everything she says is negated. And it just, how do you feel good about yourself, and how do you feel like a person that could get something done, and a business person, and like because it's hard to also just put yourself out there in a business world, in the sense of knowing that you could lose money. And also when your name's on a brand like your own yoga studio, like you want to be confident in that. So it's nice that she has like any females in her life that would give that to her, because she's always looking to Bilal's mom and sister for validation in what she wants, and they're not always upfront in giving that, because they're on Bilal's side. They think that he, the moon and sun sets with him. So, right, well,
yeah, I just feel bad for her every time. I just feel terrible for her because
every time I feel terrible.
I
So.
just I mean, there must be something that we're not seeing that the cameras aren't showing. Like, obviously, he's getting a very intense edit. Now, I'm not denying that he's saying the things that he's saying, but I would just like to see a little bit more of Sweet Bilal. I would like to see a little bit more of a Bilal that isn't her trying to push through and make something work simply because she said she would until death does her part. I
You
just
Yeah.
he has a daddy complex. Like he truly wants a woman or a person whom he can listen. I don't, and the truth is I don't even necessarily know that this is something that he wants. I think that this is what he thinks he's supposed to do. And he doesn't know any other way to be or to operate. And so the type of woman who would fit into that would be somebody who he feels looks really good on his arm, which is exactly what he thinks about Shida. She is probably one of the most beautiful people that he will ever get. Not to say that Shahida isn't beautiful, but Shai has this definite exotic, like, look to her. And then when she starts to speak, she becomes even more like different and something that he would not get in Kansas City. So I think that she looks great on his arm. She is a devout woman and she follows the, tenets of the Quran and Islam, and he's lucky to have that. But on top of that, he just wants someone who really doesn't have any ambition. Like, even though he says he does and he likes that or whatever, he likes to control.
Yes. Yes, he absolutely does. It's interesting because she kind of laments, "What does he want me to do all day? Just, like, cook and clean all day?" And the answer is, like, yes. The answer is yes.
Mhm.
He doesn't mind for you to do the yoga. He wants you to just live stream a yoga class every day while he's at work. Teach your peeps, do some of yourself, make sure you're cooking and cleaning for the house, like, yeah, and then be there and ready for whatever he wants to do, and that's exactly what he would like. He wants to just and not have any kids, obviously.
Yeah, did you see that Louis Vuitton in his closet when she opened it up to get the EA? You saw it.
I did.
It
I'm
was
surprised you saw it. I'm
a
surprised
little
you did.
placard that said it. I was like, "Wow, not only do you have clothing, but somehow you have a little placard that says it in there too."
I wanna see, what I wanna see, or, like, I wanna see the Bilal being nice scenes. I wanna see the Bilal spending money scenes.
Okay. Yeah.
On her, on him, on
Yeah.
her, on the house, on her, you
Because
know?
those fits, I know he's buying her clothes or they're going shopping together.
Right.
Like, they are Instagram ready couple fits. Like,
I think that he has also a stylist for them. I
oh,
think that he's working with a stylist.
great, great. I'm not mad at it. I just
I
would
know.
like to see more of that side of it to just like
Understand.
in some way.
I agree. So, yeah,
What do we think of Shida when she wears contacts in her confessionals? What do we feel about it?
I understand, why she's doing it because everyone does it. It makes me I notice it immediately, like, there's no not noticing it for me. I don't know. It's just for some reason, it's not annoying as other people are to me,
I
but
mean, to me, she looks like a White Walker. They're just like really, really off.
green. Yeah, she gets green. She puts green in.
It's just like, wow. I mean, I just like, are you gonna like get some white hair and just like turn
D'Artagnan.
people into zombies? So anyways, I think that's all
Targaryen, I
we
mean. D'Artagnan is what I said, but Targaryen, yeah, she could be like a full-on Targaryen.
no, the White Walkers, the ones that like they have to fight. Anyways, um,
It's also
so the next couple that we can talk about, let's just talk about Andre and Libby and just get them over with because like, what are their segments about besides Andre being like, "No, Libby, you stupid, shut up. No, I don't like it like this. How do you spell it for me?" Then make all your damn signs and like fuck. I don't want to fucking do like he's just. And Ellie is just sitting right there listening to this hollering. Now, I'm not saying they're the only family that hollers. There's a lot of like big families who tend to just like yell over each other and holler at each other. But like sometimes I'm just like, and by sometimes I mean all the time, I'm just like not into it. Like I just like, shut up.
I would hate it. No, I think that, like, I get noises freak me out. I think that I also would just, like, think that I was always doing something wrong. But I think that sometimes some parts of him is just like, "No, this is what talking is. No, this is already how long this is normal, and so if I'm upset, this is normal." You're just like, "What? It's crazy." Uh, but yeah, they are so basically they are making signs they want to hold up because their big plan is the following. We know Libby's pregnant, right? There's a baby in the belly. We discussed that, and so did Ellie. And we know that Andre's dad is in town. We also know that the whole family loves Chuck and hates everyone else. So they decide to go to the Grand Canyon, take the granddads, and then while the granddads are looking at the beauty of the Grand Canyon, be like, great, 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 but also look at us and let us do a social media ad where we'll put up these like signs and what they decided to do is they have 3 posters. On the top of one poster, Libby decides to let Andre, horrible decision, be the first to put "we are," and then underneath that, whatever we are in Romanian is, which for some reason is much longer. Okay, so it's like jar, blah, 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 you know, whatever it is, like lots of words. In the second column, it's like expecting, and then they have this whole conversation about the fact that Andre wanted to be like, we're pregnant, but Libby's like, no, we're not pregnant. No, you're not pregnant. I'll tell you who's pregnant. I'm pregnant. The baby's here in this belly. I'm the one pregnant. I'm the one that throws up. I'm the one that's going to push it out. I've already pushed out a baby or cut it out of me. I'm not quite sure what happened last time or what's going to happen this time. It's me. I'm pregnant.
Yeah, I love that she did that. I loved it. I love that she was just like, "No, you didn't do it." And he was like, "Okay, look, whatever." And she's like, "No, look at me in my face. We are not pregnant. I am. So put expecting." And then he's like, "Spell for me." And then they decided to do it to where like not one poster is in a different language and the other poster is in English, so that you're able to like discern which one you should read.
Yes.
Romanian still has some English lettering or English-like lettering. And so it kept throwing Chuck off. So it's like, why would you think that you would hold up 2 separate posters and that you would read on the top, "We are expecting," and then on the other poster on the top, see like something, and then having, I mean, God bless. Listen, Ellie messing up, putting up that poster, I was just like, can someone take this kid off stage and put on another kid? Like the like performer in me was like, no, you are not gonna have this role anymore. Cut. Let's bring in the other kid who knows how to hold up a sign. Cut. Bring in the other 2-year-old. Like this child is 2 years old, and I'm like, Ellie, get it together.
That's what Libby does. You know that Libby, like when the cameras are not there, be like, okay, when the cameras come, mommy's gonna say, where are we going? And Ellie, you're gonna say mountains. Let's practice.
Yeah.
Where are we going? Mountain. Where are we going? Mountains. Good job, Ellie. Good job, Ellie. Great job, Ellie. Ellie's World in China, Ellie's World in Australia. I've already made every YouTube possible for your incredible social media ascent to royalty, and every domain is bought. Don't even worry, Ellie. So listen, we practice for you in this sign. When I unroll mine, you unroll yours, or I'll get Bookie over in here, honey. She'll scare the shit out of you.
Yeah, and it's also like she's also in the background like la la loo, little soft lovely sleeper. Sing it. I'll take a sunrise for you. Like she just really wants that child. Her and her to have the duets of their of their nursery rhymes. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so Chuck he doesn't know where to put his eyes and he's having a hard time. And we don't even know if Andre sees it. And maybe he does, but he's just like silently smiling on the side. And Chuck is just so excited. He's like, What? What? I can't believe this is happening. I asked her about whether or not they were going to have more kids a few months ago. And she was just like, Mama, Dad, Mama. And then she's like, Dad, we're telling you first because, we're close to you right now. And the dad's like, well, how are you going to tell the rest of them? And she's like, social media, the way the rest of the world is. And Chuck's like, I don't think it's going to cause any problems. And she's like, And then she ends up saying that she would love to tell her siblings about this, but she's just like feeling like she wants to support her husband. And her husband really feels like someone in the family is called USIS or UCISI and or something. I don't know. Starring Shamar Moore, comes on Tuesday nights at
NCIS.
Yeah. Like comes on Monday nights at 8 p.m. on Channel 2. But and that he doesn't want to like tell them his happy news because he kind of just wants to separate from Becky and Buki and Charlie. And so
and the wife,
Pam, Grandma Pam.
Megan. Charlie's wife, Pam. Yeah. I'm sorry, Charlie's wife, Megan, and then of course Libby's mom, Pam. Yeah, I just like the fact that they talk about the fact that they do social media in this episode because all of these people are like Bilal and Shai are like making up TikToks and making up reels all day long. So the fact they even mention it like makes me happy because that's a lot what they're talking about all the time. We're just not seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's actually like I like that. It's almost like a little behind the scenes about
Yes.
it.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's really all that happens to them, I think. Unless you have something else to say, we can move
I
on.
don't know.
All right, let's move on to Jovi and Yara.
Okay.
So in this segment, Jovi and Yara are getting ready because they are going to go to look at apartments. And he really feels like he was kind of us afterthought when it comes to Yara looking at apartments. Like he thinks that she decided all this behind his back, which he's absolutely correct.
Mhm.
But she didn't do it behind his back. She literally did it in front of his face. He just doesn't speak the language, so he didn't know what was happening. And so he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go." So he goes, and then he's mad that he has to spend his first day in Europe chauffeuring around his wife and his backstabbing mother-in-law. He really doesn't like this mother-in-law, and I think that it's like a little shitty of him. He's like he's one of these people that like anyone can catch hands. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes you just have to forgive your wife's mother or your wife's side of the family because like their best interest is for the person that they know and love, not the stranger she went to another country and got knocked up with and married.
The relationship is very, very cold and distant, and was surprised because he's been over there before, and I just they have absolutely no warmth at all throughout this. Like they never have a side conversation. They've never like shared a smile or whatever, and so yeah, basically they don't talk at all, except for when Yara translates, and she does not do a good job translating. So in this car ride, her mom is basically like, uh when you get this place, like get us room, especially for Mila, and a small room for me, so I can live there with you too. And she tells like Jovi like somewhere where we have an apartment, yeah, like she will have her place to stay sometimes to her, about the mom or whatever. But like what I think is happening is not the same. Like she's being kind of she doesn't want to say what's happening, but I just can't really believe this is all truthful. I'm really supposed to believe that Yara is just about to buy an apartment by her with her own money for like $150,000 in Prague and just live out here 2 months out of the year because she has to be in America 6 months out of the year. Period. Sorry, go on. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, can you flesh out your thought a little more? I wasn't following quite what you were saying just now. Like what were you saying that the conversation wasn't being
Yeah,
what?
Yara doesn't translate the exact way in which it feels like it should be translated. So her mom is saying, when you look at apartments, find, Mila's gonna have a room and find like a little place for me so I can live there and like be with you and Mila. And then she's explaining it to Jovi, and she's like, yeah, like maybe she'll be there sometimes. Like
Okay.
maybe there'll be a place for her too, like sometimes. It's just that she's being shady and like telling Jovi what's up, and then having these kind of like secret, conversations with her mom about what they want to do, what they've been planning on doing.
Okay, that yeah, okay. So I think what she should just say, if I were Yara, I'd be like, my mom wants a better apartment and she wants me to get a 3 bedroom. And how that's gonna work is she would stay in one of the rooms and be there, for she would live there, but it would also be a space for me and Mila to come whenever we come visit. And it makes absolute sense to me that the times that he is on the boat that she would be in Prague.
Yes.
Like that makes the most sense. And maybe the mom pays like half the rent because she would get the apartment more so or half of the time by herself. And
Yes.
then Yara pays some of it. So maybe Yara wouldn't put 165,000 down period, but maybe she would like invest in this property and like, pay some of the rent or whatever. And that's how she needs to say it to Jovi. But she's not saying that. She's like being weird. It's like she doesn't know exactly how to explain. And then towards the end of the episode, which we can get to, I mean, we can come back. Let me just say, towards the end of the episode, we realize that it's because Yara's mother, when she divorced, she lost everything. Like Yara's father was a piece of shit, and he just took everything and left the mother to have to fend and grow skinny because she didn't eat, trying to feed her children. And so the mother is like, yeah, 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 Jovi's great. I'm glad you're happy. However, you need to have a space for yourself that you can run off to, that's yours, that he can't touch. And that makes absolute sense as somebody who watched a lot of Lifetime television for women as a child. I 100% understand that sentiment, which is why I don't know if I could ever truly just let somebody take care of me, because I would be absolutely scared that they would hide money or do something or make it so that it was difficult for me to live if me and them were no longer together. So I understand that sentiment. It's just the way she's going about it is weird. Now, Jovi is completely vindicated when they actually go and see this apartment, because I don't know, for some reason Yara thought that she was going to get a lot more bang for her buck. And this woman comes out of this apartment complex and was like, "Hi, let me show you the flat." And then she takes this family of 4 into this dumbass little space. And Jovi is just talking shit about it as though this woman doesn't speak English.
And nor does she live there, which I think she does. Not live there, but like live above it in the building or something like that. Like it could be her family's house. We don't know. They're like he's basically like, this is shitty. It's like falling apart. Now it is shitty and it is falling apart. And like he's like, look at this kitchen. Can't you wait to cook in this kitchen? And here's the thing: Jovi's American, so the kitchen is small. But this is Prague. There's a lot of people that would be very happy to be in that apartment. So like, it's just what it is. Jovi is, American. It's like, even if Jovi is right, it's annoying for us to say that he's right, because A, we love Yara so much, and also B, because he said that he didn't even want to learn Ukrainian to speak to Yara's mom. So now when he's when he doesn't like Olga, it's like, yeah, because like she doesn't like you either. Like you just both probably don't put any effort into each other. And the truth of the matter is, Olga's right. You have to put effort into her. She doesn't have to put effort into you.
Yeah. So he calls his mother, Mrs. Gwen, and tells
Yes.
her about Yara's actions, and that she didn't say anything. And then Miss Gwen is like, "Well, that's what I was worried about. I was worried about her going over there and not wanting to come back. But also, I don't know how they do it over there. But here in the U.S., a woman needs to tell her husband about any financial decisions that they're." And I just said, "Oh God, why do we have to get the sound bites of these Americans being just so xenophobic?"
Yeah, Miss Gwen definitely does not like anything that's not American culture, and the good news is Yara hates everything that is European culture. So it's
No,
great.
she
Yeah,
hates everything that's American culture.
yeah. So they're just like competing at odds all the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so-
Yara's so crazy. She's like, "I gotta watch out for me and my baby," and I'm like, "You're married to him." The way she says "me and my baby" is like she's not married, but she is. So I'm like, "Girl, like
yes,
he's right.
you're
He's
not
right.
Fontaine in Les Mis. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? You're not like,
you're not
yeah,
having him."
Cosette
Yeah,
against the
he's
world.
responsible for you two, and if you were to divorce, you guys would split it in half. And so, unfortunately, if you're making more money than him doing your online business, you would have to liquidate it or like do whatever. But like, you wouldn't just be out on the streets, like done, like you have some rights, especially as an immigrant. There are laws that protect immigrants from situations of Americans just bringing them over and then dumping them. Like, even if you guys got divorced, he is still responsible for you for the next 10 years or for 10 years,
How
at
lovely.
least. Yeah, so it's just like I understand where she's coming from, but she's not truly thinking it through. And I hate the way Jovi's like, "You're letting your mom influence you. You're letting your mom do all this stuff." I'm like, "Jovi, you just met her 2 years ago. Don't tell her that you're letting your mom influence. You don't know anything about this girl or her past. You know nothing besides whatever she's told you. So like, don't come over here talking about your mom is influencing you. That's her mom."
Yeah. Also, like you are letting your mom influence you on the phone right now. Like, so yeah, like he's in the bar. I love it by the way, when he got into the bar to have this conversation with Miss Gwen. Like Yara's like, go to the bar. Is that what you're doing, Jovi? Strax. It tracks. Then he comes back up into the room and they have this fight or whatever because he's like, "You planned this. You didn't even tell me about it. I don't understand why you and your mom are like, against me suddenly making plans like without me involved." And she sort of tells him that she wants her own situation. Um, I'll tell you right now, during this whole this whole fight, Mila is just like turning on lights, turning off the lights. She's running around. At one point, to get her dad's attention, she's like making her dad like give her some water. Mila's doing the most. Like I think that kids know when their parents are upset or fighting, and there's lots of things they do, I think, to like get the noise to stop. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're both wrong in this, and I hate the way she passively aggressively tells him about his drinking. The truth is that she needs to say what she has to say about his drinking because it's only going to get worse. Or
Yeah,
it's gonna remain the same. Like he's not going to stop drinking. He's not going to stop it because he doesn't get to drink when he's on the boat. And when he's at home, it's cultural, it's a part of it to drink. And like I don't want to judge it because when I'm not at work, I'll have a beverage with many a meal. Like, I've had a beverage or three today. So like I don't necessarily want to judge that, and say he's wrong for that because many people around the world have a beverage a few
yeah.
times a day.
Beverages, Oz. Beverage.
Beverages,
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so just because you're catching on camera the, 3 times, 2 times a day that he's drinking, it doesn't mean it. But her continuously making those comments is passive aggressive and it's only going to get worse. She's only going to get worse and his drinking is not going to stop.
Yeah, it's also going to get worse. So yeah, basically, we're on Jovi's side of all sides. To be honest, in this situation, it's crazy that she would just suddenly, whatever, just be so gung ho about something without seemingly have made all the appropriate thoughts. But at the same time, she is just looking. She didn't try and like put any money down, and she obviously is realizing what is going to be needed in order to get a suitable place for her. So
And he's so happy that she's wrong as though he knew.
yes,
He didn't know. But he's
I have no idea.
so happy. I'm like, Jovi, grow up. Just be like, hey, babe, yeah, you're maybe in the city, it's just a lot of money. I mean, it costs something like, what did it end up costing? Like,
163,000 for the apartment that we saw, and then for a three-bedroom apartment, it was be like double that.
yeah,
300, if not, 300 more.
which is like, for the apartment with that was bigger, 300,000 doesn't seem like a lot to me because, like, in places where people live in apartments the way in California or in the part of California where Chris and I live, most people have houses. There are lots and lots of apartment buildings, so maybe I'm wrong about that. But I'm saying like for those of us who grew up in homes, like buying a house on the ground for $300,000 is a good price for California because right now they're like 700,000. So when you go to a place where people live in apartments, paying $300,000 for an apartment isn't bad. So it's not like it's overpriced. It's just not as cheap as she thought it would be. And maybe that's because she's used to hearing Louisiana prices. I don't know how much homes are in Louisiana, especially the part that she's in, but maybe you can buy a nice house or, a smaller house for 150. So she's thinking, well, then an apartment, you must be able to buy it for 100,000, 150 US. Like she doesn't really know. But then she fucking found out.
I wonder, like, what her mother's like true intentions are. Is it just I really just want to babysit this baby here in Prague? Because the other part of it is like I thought your whole intention was to come to America and babysit the baby. So like, why is it like now suddenly to get this apartment in Prague and have you move in either permanently or not, live there, or in babysit the baby and or not? Uh,
Yeah.
that
I
was
just
the
think
other part is interesting.
I think it would be easier for Yara to just go to Prague than it would be for the mother to try to come to the US and live because she couldn't. Now she would be able to take care of Mila to a certain extent in the US, but like she would depend on Yara to take her around, to show her how to use things. Like, she would kind of be stuck. If they went to Europe, then Yara wouldn't have to teach her anything because she would be able to take Mila and do whatever. So I just think it's easier. And foreigners tend to think that Americans have the most money in the world. And so like, what is it for her to fly, 3 times, 4 times a year to Prague? Like, how much money is that? My daughter's got it. She lives in America. Her husband's American. They own a home. You know what I mean? Like that might be the thought too. But
Yeah,
yeah, their round trip tickets is going to be like $1,000, if not more, every single time. So,
yeah. That shop must be selling a lot, honey, that Yara shop.
mhm.
So basically that's like the crux of what their conversation and or trip to Prague has been, even though Prague does look beautiful. Like I wish they would go to like more like historical sites or museum sites or just like out to like beautiful dinners, like I want to see more of Prague and like less like shitty apartments because even just the moment outside the shitty apartment when there was just birdsong, that part was really pretty. I'm like, Prague has such promise. Show it to us. Okay, my love. Who would you like to move on to next?
You choose.
Okay. I don't want to talk about these people. So, do you want to talk Michael and Angela?
No,
Do you want to talk about you don't want to talk about them?
no.
Oh, then okay, great. Uh okay, let's talk about well then that means we have one couple left. Kimberly and Usman, honey. This was a doozy. So they are, hot off of the second meeting where there was an outside meeting where the mom was like, cool, I'm back for the same business. Okay. Here's the thing. I don't want you to marry this Kimberly as wife number one. I don't care if she has a black son. He looks nice. He's one of us, I guess, or whatever. I don't care if my son, the older one, or sorry, Farouk, the younger one, is really impressed that she was in military service. I want you to date someone who can bear you children who's perhaps of our village. Period. That's wife number one. So Usman does not want to disrespect his mom ever, that he says. And then Kimberly is upset though that Usman didn't in that moment stand up for her and was like, well, Kimberly is wife number one, mom. Kimberly is wife number one. So don't worry about it. Just stop right there. Kimberly, wife number one. Like, no. Usman wants to attract more bees with honey. Usman wants to try and finesse the situation because the truth is, at the end of the day, Usman does not really care if Kimberly is I think, married to him, or really wife number one or wife number two. That does not make one bit of difference in his mind. He doesn't understand why it makes any bit of difference in her mind. What's the big thing? If my mom wants it to be that you're wife number two, what's the big dealio? I don't even get it, And like the truth of the matter is we don't either. So because of that, Usman and the cultural respect we have to give, he is excited to do what he has to do to make his mom happy, which at this point is go meet a fine young hottie, and Kimberly has to just sit there and watch it. Why?
You know what? I am really tired of Kim Bali saying that she's given up so much for him just because she's agreed for him to be a polygamist. Girl, she keeps that's not my culture. That's not my culture. Yes, it is. There are polygamists in the US. There are a lot of them. They may not, sometimes they're just called polyamory people. I mean, it's maybe not the same or whatever, but it's in the same vein. And so it's really crazy that she keeps saying that. And anything else that you have done for him besides allowing him to live a polygamous lifestyle, which isn't crazy because you are trying to be with a man who needs to have children in his culture. And so it's like you cannot have children, nor are you in the financial position to get him a surrogate or do anything
Yeah.
in which a child will come out of you or from you or by you. So stop saying that it's for your that you're doing so much for him. You're buying him things, and if he's asking you for them and you're purchasing them, then you're a fool. But if he's not asking you for stuff and you're still the one like just making trips to Nigeria or giving him money, cash apping him as a fan or like whatever, then that's on you and you're being silly. You have not, from what we can see, you've not done anything above and beyond for him. And just the sheer fact that he's going to marry you, I'm going to stop because I don't want to be mean to Kimberly because I feel like at some point I'm going to run across her and she's gonna have a lot of shit to say to me because I've said a lot of shit about her. But yeah, she's like, oh, I feel like I'm on a battleground right now. And I'm like,
love is a battlefield.
yeah, it's just like, it's crazy. It's like, she's like, let me get this straight. You're gonna go meet a woman that you might marry while I'm here. I mean, the insecurity is so present in this one. It is like wild. Could you imagine? Like, if somebody made me that insecure, I would just be like, "Oh, I can't do this. I can't do it. I can't." So I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go.
I mean, that's basically, I think, what she wants to do, but she's like, I guess I'll have to put up with it, right? Because it's your culture, even though I don't want it to do it. Like, what if she's young and beautiful, you know? But I
Yeah.
don't think about it. It's totally fine. I get why it's happening. I totally get it. I get what your mom's doing. So, okay, I hate it. No, this is horrible. It's really bad. I hate it. It's horrible, awful. I get it. So she also, we get to see her in her natural habitat, honey, which is in her hotel room. And for Kimberly, that's what we get. And we get all of her accoutrements that she travels with. And so we were like, let's just do a little like screenshot. Look at, there's a, whatever, it's like some sort of cap where it says, congratulations, Usman Soldier Boy Yakuma? Maybe Yakuma. And then what she also has, my love, is her very infamous pink body spray raspberry fantasy spray. Look at all to the left. And it's a full size, well, it's like half, it's one third gone. So it's definitely not the one that she brought on the first trip. It's a new one. She goes and gets it. She goes and gets like it by the 3.
Yeah. Yeah, she is like stewing in her own insecurity, so she decides to take her time out to decorate her room in a manner fitting for an event that happens usually once in a lifetime. So she says she needs to do something big to show her love and to show
Yep.
how loyal she is and to show that she's the one that should be the first wife. And so she buys 2 different rings because she doesn't know his ring size. And
Yeah.
she proposes to this boy. This 52-year-old woman proposes to this 33-year-old man.
She gets down on a knee. It takes her a long time, honey, because it's a sore knee. You know, you're just like,
Mhm.
when you see her doing it, you're like, I can't believe, is that a great idea? Is that the one you've been shot in? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the one that you should like get down on one knee. But it's like cringy, right? Because she proposes to him, and it's always cringy to watch someone do too much, which she even says, like, "Is it too much? Is it I'm doing too much?" Like, and it's always like, "Yeah, it is too much," and you're, like, overdoing it. To watch someone be like, "Oh, oh, look at all of the things that you did. Well, I'm gonna say yes," and his reasoning for saying yes is because marrying her would make her so happy, and he wants to see her so happy, which is, like, not really the reason why you get married to someone. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, and he's like, "I've never actually seen a woman propose to a man. That's something I've only ever seen on American TV." And so it was definitely very weird.
It's crazy.
That was very weird. But she wants him to have a ring on his finger when
Yep.
he goes to meet the beautiful young biddy. And I wanted to say, Kimbali, this woman does not care about you. This woman only wants to be with a good Hausa man who is also a mild celebrity. So she has no fear of you. She hasn't I mean, she might be like, yeah, Usman's second wife. But like this, we see a picture of her and she's beautiful.
I am so excited. I didn't know if we were gonna see, we obviously got teased and didn't get to see any of his actual meeting with her this episode. And then for the teaser for the next episode, they did show her, and yeah, she's gorgeous. She like is like she puts everyone to shame. Like, she's more beautiful than Zara, like she's ridiculous. Not to, like, I guess, judge women's beauty, by each other. Everyone's beautiful in their own subjective way. So that's just what that is. But I just my personal opinion. Zara's pretty. So yeah, she wants him to wear the ring. One of the rings works. He says that whatever happens, he's always going to be there, and he says yes. And then the next morning, he has to get ready to go to meet her, and and she's like so upset. She just wants to always talk about how upset this situation makes her, and again the sacrifice she's making and allowing it to happen. And it's kind of like you knew this was going to happen, so I don't want to hear this pout. I don't want to see it. It's like, I mean, yeah, because you said yes. You said yes months ago that this was going to happen. So this is what's happening.
Yeah, and also, like, this idea that he's just supposed to keep it so separate, I mean, he could. I wish Kim would just go, and then we could see him actually be with somebody who's, like, from his culture and who's beautiful, and I would like to know, like, how he would treat his a wife that he isn't using.
I would love to see him act sexually into someone, stricken with someone, lusting after someone, wanting to see someone I want to see him be nervous around a woman who might not be into him. I want to see all of that so
And I
badly.
don't think we're gonna see that because their culture, you don't show affection like that. But
Yeah.
I like to see his smile when he looks at her because she is quite touching.
I mean, yeah, he does not care, honey, about whatever the outcome is of this situation. She keeps saying it's a deal breaker. She will not be the second wife. And I feel like he is just biding his time between two boiling pots of water. And there's one lid. There's either the boiling pot of his mom and the boiling pot of Kimberly, and they're just simmering. And he has one lid, honey, and he's trying to stir some pots and trying to put a lid on other pots, just trying to get them both to come to some sort of compromise in the end. The compromise being is I think that he thinks that Kimberly will acquiesce and be the second wife.
Yeah, and I feel like she will too. But she has a conversation with Jamal, and
Yeah.
Jamal kind of unpacks everything for her, and she's like, "He's a smart kid. Jamal's a smart guy." And I'm like, "Wow, it took your son explaining this to you. It took your son. Yeah. What is the point? What is the benefit of being the first wife? What does it matter what wife you are?"
Yeah, why are you hanging your hat on the deal breaker being you being the second wife? The deal breaker is either you're allowing your man to be with another person or not.
Yeah.
Or not. I mean, yeah, Jamal is smart. Jamal, I feel like he must just be like, why do I have to have this conversation with my mom? This is crazy, man.
This is wild. This
Yeah,
is wild.
while he has to go home and he has to tell his bros what happened. He's like, dog, I just had the craziest conversation with my mom. She's just in Africa. She's just being raw dogged and losing her mind.
I mean, at some point during the conversation, she starts to tell him about the proposal, and all we see is this.
Oh, make it go away. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you proposed? And he's quiet, and she's like, "Hello." And all she sees is this man like, "Hello, hi, mom." How is that gonna work when things didn't even work out with you and my dad because he had another biddy?
Yeah.
How is that gonna work? The delusion, Chris. If I am ever delusional, well, I mean, in what way?
Are you answering your own question in
If
your
I'm
mind?
if
Okay.
I'm 53
Okay.
and look
72.
60,
Okay.
and I marry a young man
Uh-huh.
who tells me that he needs to have a wife who can bear him children.
Yeah.
I need you to remind me of Kimberly and Usman. First of all, I'm not opposed to being a second wife.
So already they're different.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I would do it if he made me feel great and he bought me jewelry and we looked great together and we had great dinners and we had good sex. I'm like, okay, yeah. And I would get to know the kids. I would get to know the kids.
How about
I
the wives? You're the
I'd be
one.
back there. I mean, the truth is that like, who knows if I'm gonna get along with the wife? Because like, I feel like the any woman who would like fight me for dominance or fight me for a man, it's not really me. I would be like, listen, she's fighting me. I'm gonna need my own apartment. Don't worry, I'll pay for it, and you can come over whenever you're ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll get to know the kids and everything fine, but she and I don't have to be friends because I'm not gonna fight with a woman over a man ever. You're not gonna fight me for dominance.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like, I will always be the fun wife. I will be the wife that has no children. I will be the wife who has a career. That's the wife I am. And if you're frustrated with me because he and I can go out unencumbered, or we have he's in a different mindset when he's with me because we are not making a family, being a wife is hard, you know.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't know. But that brings us to the end of this episode. We
Oh,
have
I have just one thing that a couple of quotables from Angela and Michael that I would like to say. We don't need to talk about them, but these are the things that stuck out in my mind. Winnie, you have come here with Angela. You are her friend. You understand her. Please talk to her. Okay. And then
say the friend part again.
you are her friend.
No, no, no. It's so good. No.
Okay. And then this is Angela. I thought you were going home. You're exhausting. And the entire time, Angela's teeth want to fly out of her mouth. This woman is doing the Lord's work to keep her teeth in her mouth. The whole time, all I hear is, Marcos, Lauren, you ain't got no morals. Michael, shut up, Michael. I'm gonna kick you in the goddamn pool. Like, just trying to keep them gummy ass, saliva filled teeth in her mouth. They're moving and a grooving in that mouth.
You are
This
absolutely
bitch comes out. She is 60. She is, I don't know, 56 years old, man. This bitch comes out of that with all gold jewelry on, right? All gold swap meet ghetto girl jewelry, but her earrings are fucking heart shaped with like chandelier fucking bullshit coming off of them, you guys. Okay, her hair is in that high pony. She's got a pink crop top shirt on and some high waisted black bell bottom shoes, and she's wearing heels. And listen, someone has styled this baggy bitch. Someone has styled this fucking skin saggy bitch, and I can't, even though it's tacky and that someone might have been Skyla. There's a part of me that's like, okay. But when she said that she was going to kick him in the goddamn pool, I
yeah.
said, bitch, with what momentum?
Yeah. Yes.
With what? And Renee is just like trying to sit there, and something's up. Renee is the most. Renee is the first time I've ever been able to see in a black woman Botox, like clearly. Botox and what, fillers too, Chris? I don't know.
Yes.
She's got a lot going on in that face.
Yes.
But anyways, that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say Angela had a hard time keeping her teeth in her mouth, and I want to say, Renee, you have come here with Angela. You are her friend.
No.
You please talk to her.
I wish I could do it as good as you. You are her friend. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. You are her friend.
Stop Angela, this is too much.
Yeah, no, it's so
I pray that my marriage is safe. I get on bended knees and I pray to the Lord. Good night. I said, Angela, I mean, that's the most Jesus-y I've ever heard him be.
I can't believe that we have to even talk about him. I can't believe that he is staying around. I can't believe that the Instagram, I just can't hear it anymore. It's so dumb. So
Because you got no morals.
the truth of the matter is, as dumb as it is, they are shooting confessionals together. They have a confessional where they are sitting up right by each other and they are interacting in the moment, which means that at some point they were shooting together, whether it was in Africa during this time or at a different time later. Like they're remarking on these situations that we're watching in the same space. So it's always confusing when they show us that, and we can like know that. We're like, "Oh, you
Mm.
guys are together right now."
Anyways, so that's the end of them. Renee is like on my shit list too now. She was yelling at Michael, and Angela is just such a saggy faced bitch. Like,
This is a piece of pain. Do you see this, Michael?
like
This
it
is a
is.
woman of pain.
Listen, the only reason why I'm talking about Angela the way I am right now is, and this is no shade to anybody else, but she is an asshole.
Yeah.
So she's gonna get all the vitriol because she is an abusive fucking asshole.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's the end of this episode, you guys. We want to thank you guys so much for joining us. If you would like to see the visual version of what you just listened to, you can support us, support your girls on Patreon, and that is patreon.com/docusweeties. It's $10 a month. We might give some extra stuff. We may add another tier once we've got more time and energy, but it is what it is for now.
It is what it is for now, but yeah, more is coming. We love you guys so much. Listen, you can also follow us on Instagram, that is DocuSweeties, and TikTok, DocuSweeties1, and TikTok, which is DocuSweeties1. You know, uh, we are so thankful that you would take any time to listen to us. I know that listen, I'm having like an allergy attack right now. So if you have listened to this episode and been like, she sounds a little stuffy, you're right. But at the same time, thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for rating us whatever stars you want to rate us 5, and sharing this amongst your family and friends, sure, and being with us along this journey. Thank you so much. We love you, and yeah, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.
Bye.